Following a startling on-field incident involving Esteban Andrada, La Liga has took a radical choice. Andrada's career, as we know, it may come to an end at this point. What precisely transpired, then, and how did it get so bad? After landing a flying blow on Jorge Pulido on Sunday, April 26, 2026, Esteban Andrada, Real Zaragoza's starting goalkeeper, was expected to serve a lengthy suspension. On Sunday night, Huesca won the Segundo relegation six-pointer at El Alcaraz 1-0. As Zaragoza chased a late equalizer deep into stoppage time, Andrada received a second yellow card for knocking Pulido to the ground. Pulido was a goalkeeper who had been up the field attempting to assist to a last-minute attack, and he was expelled in a game that his side needed to win. However, what followed was very different. The 35-year-old became enraged in more ways than one when he ran over and punched the Huesca defender in the jaw, starting a fight that resulted in the dismissal of two more players. Referee Damaso Arciano Manaccio claims that the incident happened in the 99th minute, following Andrada's dismissal. According to the official narrative, Andrada ran and leaped toward Pulido, punched him in the face with too much power, knocked him down, and bruised his left cheekbone. Before being led off the field, Andrada reportedly needed to be restrained by opponents, teammates, and security guards. Within an hour, every major sports network was replaying the footage of Pulido on the ground, players racing across the field, and staff members from both benches flooding onto the turf. In addition to Andrada, Zaragoza teammate Dani Tassendi and Huesca goalie Dani Jimenez were sent off for retaliating by punching his opponent. The attack on Pulido resulted in 3 red cards overall, 1 altercation, and a match that was meant to be about Segunda Division survival turning into something no one had expected. What happens to Esteban Andrada is the question at hand, and in order to comprehend the gravity of the response, we must comprehend what led him to this point. Esteban Andrada wasn't a nobody when he joined Real Zaragoza. Born on January 26, 1991, Esteban Maximiliano Andrada is a professional football player from Argentina who currently plays goalkeeping for Zaragoza in the Segunda Division while on loan from Monterrey in Liga MX. The Mendoza native's father was murdered in an automobile accident when he was still a teenage aspirant, leaving Andrada, his mother, and his 5 siblings in severe financial hardship. The football-loving child was forced to begin laboring in the sweltering vineyards of western Argentina at the age of 14. In order to help the grieving family put food on the table, he started working on the region's yearly grape harvest at the age of 14. He laboriously picked the fruit that would eventually produce Mendoza's renowned Malbec wine. But he never gave up on the game. He continued to train and show up, and ultimately the pathway opened. From 2012 to 2018, he was a member of Lanús FC's senior team, where he began his professional career. He started establishing himself as a dependable, authoritative figure between the posts at Lanús. Esteban Andrada has won 7 trophies in his career, including the Copa Sudamericana with Lanús, the Supercopa International and Liga Professional with Boca Juniors, and the CONCACAF Champions Cup 2021 with Monterrey. 3 clubs won 7 titles, including a league championship and a Copa Sudamericana. He was carrying silverware. Then, on August 6, 2018, Boca Juniors, the largest stage in Argentine club football, took place. He was sent to one of Argentina's best clubs, Boca Juniors. Andrada emerged as the clear winner in La Bombonera. He broke Carlos Navarro Montoya's record in 2019 by going 864 minutes in a row without giving up a domestic goal. That equates to almost 10 entire football games in the top division of Argentina without letting a single ball by him. He was not only good. At the time, he was the best goalie in the nation. He received top-level recognition for his performances. In a friendly match against Morocco on March 26, 2019, he made his debut for the Argentina national football team. He was one of the 3 goalkeepers that manager Lionel Scaloni selected as a starter for the 2019 Copa America, but left the team on June 14 because of a knee injury. He lost what could have been a tournament that would have defined his career due to a knee injury. The mystery of what may have happened if Andrada had remained healthy persisted as Argentina finished 3rd. The relocation to Mexico eventually occurred. In 2021, he won the CONCACAF Champions Cup after joining Monterrey in Liga MX. However, It was obvious that the trajectory was starting to slope. The high years at Boca, the shutout record, the call-ups to the national team, the big European scouts circling, were replaced by a more subdued period, followed by the loan to Zaragoza. The 35-year-old Andrada is presently on loan from Rayados de Monterrey, a Mexican team. As the Argentine goalie approaches the last few months of his loan contract, this disciplinary procedure takes place. He was meant to be keeping Zaragoza in the second level and holding the fort in a relegation battle before he is expected to return to Mexico this summer. His time in Spain will now be remembered for a completely different cause. Any association football game between Real Zaragoza and Esti Huesca is called the Aragonese Derby. The two largest clubs in Aragon are significant locally and with a sense of pride. It's not El Clásico though. It's not the Derby in Madrid. Up until today, it has never produced the kind of worldwide media coverage associated with those high-profile matches. The context at the bottom of the table was what set this specific meeting on fire. Real Zaragoza is currently in 19th place with 35 points, while Huesca is in 20th place with 33 points. Relegation occurs on the 20th. The last position above the drop zone, right on the brink, is 19th. These two teams were in danger of being demoted to the third division of Spanish football, which would have been disastrous for both organizations. You couldn't just shake hands and go on from this game. Two entire organizations' financial and competitive futures could be decided by this game. The incident happened in the last second. In an effort to prevent relegation to the third division, Zaragoza must now play their final 5 games without their starting goalie. As the minutes passed, the visiting Zaragoza supporters, who were anxious for a success, became more agitated, creating an already tense environment inside El Alcaraz. Andrada, the goalie who had entered the game during stoppage time to use his 193-centimeter frame in one more attack, was confronted with the one man who might have represented everything Zaragoza needed to overcome that evening. Jorge Pulido, captain of Huesca. After Jorge Pulido spoke to Andrada, who was already receiving a yellow card, the flashpoint occurred during stoppage time. They spoke to each other. What followed was caught on tape for the world to see, but the nature of those comments has not been made public. After pushing the Huesca captain and receiving a second yellow, the Zaragoza goalie left the field furious and under duress. Andrada then turned around and charged rather than moving in the direction of the tunnel. Pulido ridiculed Andrada from a distance, and in a heated moment, Andrada seemed to respond by hitting him in the face. The blow struck with a force that has no place on a football field. Pulido's face swelled after the blow, and several players from both teams got into a heated altercation. Pandemonium broke out throughout the stadium. Both sides' players raced to the scene of the event. To keep the fighters apart, security personnel raced onto the field. A sea of enraged players surrounded the referee and his helpers. Coaches were confused, and officials were terrified. Opposition goaltender Danny Jimenez retaliated by punching Andrada in the back of the head after his antics sparked a huge altercation. In defense of his captain, the Huesca goalie sprinted across the field and retaliated by hitting Andrada. Following a VAR review of the altercation, Danny Tasenda of Zaragoza was also ejected. A contest that had previously been a pressure cooker was reduced to complete anarchy with 3 red cards and 1 altercation. The immediate fallout was quick and brutal. Within hours, Real Zaragoza issued an official statement. In the closing seconds of this Sunday's SD Huesca Real Zaragoza game at El Alcaraz, it should never have happened that we starred in pictures that are unsuitable for this sport. These incidents do not reflect the ideals of true Zaragoza, which has always been distinguished by bravery, dignity, and respect for the opposition. For many fans, particularly boys and girls, who support us in every game and want to one day be like us, we serve as role models and sources of inspiration. For this reason, these regrettable pictures ought never to have been created. The club will examine the circumstances surrounding our player Esteban Andrada and implement the necessary disciplinary actions. That is how a club is getting ready to cut ties with a player. There was no mitigation, no defense, and no indication that there were two sides to the issue. Nor did Andrada's teammates attempt to justify it. Franco Serrano, "I don't know what happened," stated Real Zaragoza's captain. "I must apologize. This is not represented by Real Zaragoza. The loss hurts us. They were obviously taken aback by the ferocity their own goalkeeper had unleashed, even though they were hurt by the loss. Given the situation, many would not have anticipated the level of sensitivity displayed by the Huesca coaching staff. José Luis, the manager of Huesca, stated, "It's difficult to explain. It's a total loss of control, in my opinion. Considering everything that was at risk, I can put myself in their position." The man whose captain had just been hit in the face responded in a surprisingly composed manner. Eventually, Andrada gave a public speech. Andrada replied, "I'm very sorry for what happened. For the club, the supporters, and especially for a professional like me, it's not a positive image." He continued by admitting that his offense was unusual. "I've only received one red card in my career, and it was for a handball outside the area. I became distracted at a crucial occasion and responded in that manner. I really apologize, and I promise not to do it again because I am a well-known professional with a long career. Since Jorge Pulido and I work together, I also